Industry Cabinet Secretary Moses Kuria has continued to attack and profile the media using derogatory language following an expose by Nation media linking him to a cooking oil scandal. It is sad yet frustrating that at a time when the head of state has been vocal about accountability, his appointees continue to hurl unprintable words towards the media for holding the government accountable. Safe to say that Kuria's remarks falls below the threshold set in Chapter 6 of the Constitution for state officers on integrity and leadership. It is worth noting that Kuria berated a journalist on live television while serving as the Member of Parliament for Getundu South. It is embarrassing that state officers regarded as mirrors of the society would resort to shameless insults as opposed to proving their innocence. Regardless of the attacks, the media shall and will continue to inform the masses and hold individuals accountable without intimidation. The Media Council of Kenya, the Kenya Editors Guild, and the Kenya Union of Journalists have all aired their frustrations over Kuria's remarks, nonetheless insisting that the media shall not be cowed into submission. Welcome to the program tonight. I am Ian Keitani and our sign language interpreter is Josephina Wiko. First of all, let's have a look at what's making headlines tonight.
The Communications Authority of Kenya says it lacks the authority to pull down social media content produced by Pastor Paul Mackenzie as the probe into the Shakahola massacre continues. LSK expresses concern over the public spat between the Inspector General of Police and the National Police Service over the promotion of 514 officers. And Kenya and the European Union signed the Economic Partnership Agreement to allow entry of Kenyan products into the EU member states quota-free and duty-free.
Welcome to the program tonight. Now, the Communication Authority of Kenya says it lacks the authorization to pull down social media content produced by controversial preacher Paul Mackenzie. Appearing before the Senate Ad Hoc Committee investigating Shakahola deaths, the Communications Authority of Kenya Director General Ezra Chiloba said the authority faced various limitations in dealing with Mackenzie's content on social media.
For some information, which we provided, around registration process, around operation.
Appearing before the Senate committee investigating the Shakahola massacre, the Director General of the Communications Authority of Kenya, Ezra Chiloba, had a difficult time to explain why the controversial Pastor Paul Mackenzie's content had not been pulled down from social media.
Aren't you able to do something? Because this is what our voters are telling us. Do something, because maybe our children are still following the content. Do something. Can't you do something?
When you request me to pull down content from Facebook, it does not mean that it's actually my people sitting behind the computer doing it. We have a mechanism of reaching out to Facebook, and they have people behind that who are able now, once they know that this has been flagged by the regulatory agency in a particular jurisdiction, then they enable you to take it down.
Chiloba stressing that CAK does not have the full legal capacity to delete anything on the internet.
Content, and we've supported a lot of even individual members of parliament in terms of that intervention. But it's not done directly by us. We actually have to go back, for example, to identify who is the host of that particular platform. And you will find that a lot of these things that happen in this country are not even hosted here. They're outside our jurisdiction.
In addition, the Interior Ministry has confirmed that it has determined that Mackenzie registered his identification card twice, making changes on his date of birth.
Misinformation or misrepresentation of fact. When someone says his date of birth, his DOB is 1973, his DOB is the other one was 76. You have his fingerprints, you release a new ID, you are seeing there's a problem and you don't follow him up. Is indeed an offense. I just wanted a confirmation, and if it is, what action have you taken? Have you brought it to the attention of the ODPP? And why should I, for example, give different? Doesn't that say something about that person? And if they are misleading a whole institution, as important institution as the one you are heading, don't you think they should be punished for that?
Chiloba also making it clear that laws regulating communications in the country are strong and there is need to strengthen laws aimed at controlling religious organizations.
To see how we can, come up with laws, enhance what we have, because we are not starting from scratch. We have something that we can work with. But I think we can better our laws. We can make them better by making sure that it's either we strengthen them to make sure that there's clarity in terms of how to resolve issues to do with hate speech, religious content.
Audrey Cherotich, Lookuptv.
Moving forward, the Law Society of Kenya now says it will proceed to court over this part on promotions of officers between the Inspector General of Police and the National Police Service. The society, through its president Eric Theory, also cautioned the Directorate of Criminal Investigations over unlawful arrest of advocates in the country.
Of June this year, Inspector General of Police Japheth Kome purportedly promoted at least 514 police officers. The promotions were, however, rejected by the National Police Service Commission, with Busia Senator Okiya Omtatah proceeding to court to counter the promotions. The Law Society of Kenya today expressed their dissatisfaction with the promotions made by Japheth Kome, insisting that he does not have the powers to do so.
The Law Society is further seriously concerned at the recent public spat between the Inspector General of Police and the National Police Service Commission over the promotion of over 507 officers above the rank of Superintendent of Police by the Inspector General. In reading of Article 245(4), subsection C, does not donate any power to the Inspector General to make any appointments or determine promotions and transfers within the National Police Service.
Theory also took a swipe at Japheth Kome for violating the Constitution through the said promotions.
The actions by the Inspector General of Police therefore amount to serious violation of the Constitution, and both the National Police Service Act and the National Police Service Commission Act, as well as the promotion regulations of 2015, and is a ground for removal of the Inspector General from office.
Even as Kome trashed the proclamation by the National Public Service Commission, the LSK has hinted at proceeding to court to seek clarification on the matter.
The Law Society is apprehensive that the actions of the Inspector General will create confusion and anarchy in the management of the police service and is therefore a threat to national security. The Law Society shall immediately instruct an advocate to petition the High Court to pronounce itself on the law so as to clear the current impasse created by the actions of the Inspector General of Police.
The society has also cautioned the Directorate of Criminal Investigation and the Director of Public Prosecutions over the harassment of advocates undertaking their mandate on different cases in the country.
To fulfill their professional duties effectively, advocates must be able to practice their profession safely and should be free from improper interference. The Law Society urgently calls on the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions and the Office of the Director of Criminal Investigations to ensure all lawyers are able to assist their client without intimidation, hindrance, harassment, or improper interference, and without threats, prosecution, or sanction for any action.
As the spat between the Inspector General of Police and the National Police Service Commission continues, the Law Society of Kenya now says the IG is not mandated under law to oversee any promotions despite defiance from Japheth Kome in what now looks like a supremacy battle between two key institutions that should work hand in hand. Ian Keitani, Lookuptv, Nairobi. Well, that particular story was produced by one Brian Amoy. The Parliamentary Committee on Energy Chairperson Vincent Musyoke has today justified that the 16% VAT tax on fuel is in the Finance Bill 2023. While appearing before the Parliamentary Budget and Appropriations Committee meeting on the Supplementary Budget 2, the chair said extensive measures need to be taken to reduce the cost of energy in the country.
As the 2022-2023 fiscal year draws to a close, various parliamentary committees have submitted their supplementary budget proposals to the Budget and Appropriations Committee.
Also, it's the one who is to implement the electrification of public facilities and transformers.
The Energy Committee Chair, Honorable Vincent Musyoke, supported the Finance Bill, adding that various measures needed to be implemented to bring down the cost of energy. Dagoretti South Member of Parliament Honorable John Kiare also backed the Finance Bill, adding that there is a need to reduce Kenya's debt level and have a self-sustaining economy.
Estimates are enumerating all the projects, all the commitments that Kenya is going to undertake in the coming year. Now, these commitments cost money. You saw that in those pronouncements, there is a big chunk that goes to our international commitments. Call them debts, call them our commitments to the local and international debtors. The second one is the recurrent budget, which is mainly going into salaries of people working in government. The third one and key is the development budget. All these were enumerated in the budget proposals and the budget estimate pronouncement made by Professor Njoguna in Parliament. The second part is what is critical. That after these estimates have been made and after the proposals have been put out there, how shall they be funded? And hence the second part of the budget, and that is the revenue raising measures. It is what most were calling the Finance Bill. And I am glad now that Kenyans are realizing that the budget bill was not just one question that was going to be asked in Bunge, yes or no. The budget bill is comprising of extremely a big number of proposals made. Some have been additions, some have stayed the way they are, some have been reductions. And I'm glad that now the conversation on the budget and the finance bill is taking a new tangent after Kenyans have been made to understand.
The Budget and Appropriations Committee today received proposals on the ratification of spending by various departments and ministries as the various committee chairs justified financial allocations and reductions. With the 2022-2023 financial year coming to a close, the Budget and Appropriations Committee has today held a meeting to discuss Supplementary Budget Number 2, which has seen various parliamentary committees justify their spending. David Alex, Lookuptv, Nairobi.
Thank you very much, David Alex, for that particular story. Now on to matters politics. The Jubilee Party, faction led by Iala MP Kanini Kega, has been barred from pulling out of the Azimio La Umoja coalition. In a ruling by the Political Parties Disputes Tribunal, the faction has been stopped from holding a special annual delegates conference scheduled for July 22nd this year. The PPDG chairperson Desma Nungo further issued conservatory orders suspending a letter from the Registrar of Political Parties that recognized the ouster of Jeremiah Kioni and David Murathe as Secretary General and Vice Chairperson, respectively.
The push and pull within the Jubilee Party are taking new heights after the rebel faction of the Jubilee Party led by Sabina Chege and Kanini Kega suffered a major blow following a tribunal sitting in Nairobi, barring them from withdrawing the political outfit from the Azimio La Umoja One Kenya Alliance. The Political Parties Disputes Tribunal, led by the chairperson Desma Nungo, issued orders suspending a letter from the Register of Political Parties that recognized the ouster of Jeremiah Kioni and David Murathe as Secretary General and Vice Chairperson, respectively. The Kega faction has also been stopped from holding a parallel National Delegates Conference on July 22, 2023, pending the hearing of a case lodged by the Kioni faction. Further, the tribunal has also issued conservatory orders stopping both the Kega and Kioni factions from representing the Jubilee Party. The decision reads, and I quote, pending the hearing and determination of the complaint and applications filed inter partes, interim conservative orders are hereby issued, restraining all parties hereto and or their representatives jointly and severally from issuing any communication and or making any public representations on behalf of the Jubilee Party, and further staying communication dated 6th and 13th 2023 issued by the Honorable Joshua Kutuni, and any other communication and or decision that may have been issued and or taken by any of the parties hereto on behalf of the Jubilee Party during the pendency of these proceedings, the Nungo-led tribunal ruled. The tribunal also certified the application as urgent and directed the case to be heard on June 22, 2023 at 10 a.m. The orders have been issued after the Kioni faction petitioned the tribunal to stop the Kega faction from pulling out of the Azimio coalition, saying it will be detrimental to the party. They urged the tribunal to stop the Kega faction from further interfering with the DAF's party decision, including calling for an annual conference of the party pending the determination of their case. Kioni faction wants the tribunal to determine once and for all the leadership wrangles in the Jubilee Party. Kioni accuses the Kega faction of contempt for violating the orders earlier issued, recognizing them as the bona fide leaders of the former ruling party. The decision by the tribunal today comes as a reprieve to the leaders of the Jubilee Party, retired President Uhuru Kenyatta, whose co-leaders Kioni, Murathe and Kagwe Gishohi have been recognized as the real leaders of the party. Brana Mwai, Lookuptv, Nairobi.
That story by Brana Moya brings us to the end of the first segment of this particular bulletin. Do stay with us because we have a lot lined up for you in our second segment. Don't go away.
Mimi katika maisha yangu sikuwa na imani kama ukicheza loto pengine unaweza ukafaulu. Nilikuwa naona tu kama ni hizi story tu za mtaani. Lakini kuna jamaa yangu mmoja nilisoma na yeye kule Maumba. Yeye alishinda. Sasa aliposhinda ndio akanitoa taka na kuhamisha ile imani yangu pale nilipokuwa, nikajua kumbe loto si ndoto, ni ukweli. Na ni ukweli kwa sababu saa hii nimeshinda 250,000. Kama ingekuwa ni porojo, singekuwa na hizo pesa.
Changamka, cheza loto. Nyakua mita na Lotto every hour. Get into the Lotto money train and win big. Mara hii you win 20,000 times pesa zako. 50 bob inakushindia 1 million shillings every hour na up to 40 million shillings every day. Usiwachwe nyuma. Mamili ni moto moto na Lotto. Nenda kwa M-Pesa paybill number 777-000. Andika neno look kama account name. Cheza na kati ya shilingi 50 hadi shilingi 2,000 na ubambeto na Lotto.
Over 18s only. Gaming can be addictive. Play responsibly. This message has been approved by the BCLB.
Infinity Industrial Park is one of the largest private industrial parks located along Eastern Bypass, Nairobi, which provides modern infrastructure for smooth operations for industries and business enterprises. Infinity Industrial Park offers world-class amenities and facilities with wide roads, a police station, a power substation, fire station, public transport stage, hospital, and shopping mall. In addition, Infinity Industrial Park also offers CCTV cameras, 24-hour private armed security patrol, sewer, water, fiber optic cable, and 3-phase power connection, added to public utility, canteen, and dining areas. Sail on the golden opportunity to invest in Infinity Industrial Park fully serviced warehouses at a special price of 3,569 Kenyan shillings per square foot. For more inquiries, visit our website infinityindustrialpark.com.
Thank you very much for staying with us. Now, Kenya has reached an important trade agreement that will see goods get duty-free access to the European Union market in a deal signed by the government and the European Union. Under the Interim Economic Partnership Agreement, Kenya will be granted duty-free and quota-free access to the EU market for all its exports, including commodities such as coffee, flowers, and minerals. In return, Kenya will gradually open its market to more imports from the European Union.
A further achievement of the negotiated agreement is that it anchors Kenya as a natural hub for European companies seeking markets in the EAC, COMESA, and SADC, and eventually to the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. By locating your investment in Kenya, you will gain market access to the rest of the African continent. And I am pleased that we are doing this at a time when we are also advancing the implementation of the Global Gateway Africa Europe Investment Package, which was announced at the 6th EU-AU Summit in February. This achievement also represents a fundamental deliverable under the EU-Kenya Strategic Dialogue, our mechanism for advancing our common strategic interests in trade, investment, peace, and security in our region, and the transition to green energy and the digital economy. It signals our long-term commitment to ensure that farmers, including those in the flower, coffee, tea, fish, peas, and the edible fruits and nuts sector, are assured of a predictable market. Budget this year, we have removed taxes on packaging material to facilitate export of finished products that are packed by Kenyan and European partners working together to export our products. It is our intention to reverse our manufacturing as a percentage of GDP that has been going down. We now need to take it to 15% in the next 5 years and hopefully 20% by 2030. That commitment will be backstopped by this agreement. It gives us greater emphasis and opportunity for us to be able to do that. Additionally, it will also give us the opportunity to enhance our exports.
Well, a good move on the part of the government. On Your Opinion Matters today, we sought to find out if Kenyans are okay with the resumption of anti-government demonstrations. This comes after Azimio leader Raila Odinga announced the possibility of the resumption of the demonstrations should the finance bill see the light of day in the National Assembly. Juliet Chepkoech with the report.
With the National Assembly voting in support of the Financial Bill 2023-2024 and the opposition threatening to embark on anti-government protest, we sought to get your opinions on these demonstrations.
Maoni yangu, maandamano irudi. Wakenya wanaumia. Hii sasa wanaona tena wamechukua the 1.5%, naona wamebadilisha, it's now a compulsory task. Sasa tena naona wanasema eti lazima civil servant tugharimikie the health insurance for retirement. Mambo ni ngumu. Walitudanganya kwamba unga imeshuka. Leo asubuhi nimevitia supermarket naona unga ni 250. I would wish Wakenya waumie for the next 2 years. Maana ni chaguo lao. Tuliwaambia wakati wa campaign hawakusikia. Now that hii ndio walitaka, wacha tuumie wote pamoja.
Naweza taka maandamano irudi. Lakini kuwe peaceful maandamano. Cause sahi maisha imekuwa ngumu sana. Biashara pia tunaafektiwa juu hakuna do. Unga inaendelea kupanda. Pia watu wengi sana wana struggle kukula. So at least maandamano ikirudi, vitu pia zinaweza shukishwa. Zikishukishwa bei, pia pesa itakuwa.
I would like maandamano to come back like yesterday. because that is the language that the government understands, or that's the language they listen to. Yeah. And that is the only way we as ordinary mwananchi can express ourselves about the life generally, how hard it is.
Mzee amechoka na wananchi, hata wananchi wazidi kufinyiliwa tu vile serikali inataka. Hata wafanyaje? Kama ni maandamano ya kupeleka uchumi chini ama kupeleka hali ya yangu duni iwe kama kifadhali, hapo naweza kubali nje, lakini kama ni maandamano hakuna kitu yote nafanyika, sasa ni nini?
But if we go on maandamano, we are not getting the end results. What is important, the two parties should sit down and work out what is best that can be started with in the long run, right? Then they progressively move with what has been left until they reach conclusion. But going on the street is not helping any of us.
Those are some of the views of Nairobi residents, with many of them in support of the anti-government protest. The big question still remains, will the government hear the pleas of its citizens? Juliet Chepkoech, Lookuptv.
Those are just like you've heard the views of Kenyans regarding the anti-government demonstrations. Moving forward, police discovered Kenya Power stolen materials worth 11 million shillings at Ndenderu, Kiambu County. The incident attracted the attention of various central government officials led by the Joint Secretary in the Ministry of Energy, Wycliffe Ogala, who claimed that the crime has costed Kenya Power a lot of money as well as greatly affecting Kenyans.
And criminal activities, they'll never spare them. And particularly for this particular case, the suspect here is habitual in engaging such like crimes. As at now, he has a case pending before the court. As much as we have the 42 transformers that have been vandalized in Kiambu County, we have noted a recent trend in which there's a nationwide targeting of these transformers. For sure it's not.
The KPLC tower or post, and you are not a member of KPLC staff, then I think he will deal with you rigorously. He won't spare you, because you are not also sparing Kenyans. That is one. Number two, I think I also want to warn the members of public that it is illegal to handle items from a government, any government institution without permit, without any permission. So whether you are found there as a worker or whatever any other position you are holding in that business, I think
paralyzed after tens of youths held protest on the streets claiming that the upcoming Safari Rally Championships have not benefited them. The youth barricaded various streets with burning tires, forcing the anti-riot police to intervene. Akim Matumona with more on the news wrap.
To the street with placards in their hands, whistling and shouting their men cry, an opportunity to work. Youth in Naivasha town said they are not getting any job opportunity despite there being an event coming, the WRC, following preparation that has been going on for months. The youths have lashed out at organizers are calling on CS Ababu Namwamba to intervene.
Now we want to address Waziri Ababu Namwamba. Alipewa order na president. Akasema asitoe watu kutoka Eldoret, Kakamega, tupewe kazi kama vijana wa Naivasha. Tuko aware WRC na happen hapa kuanzia Thursday. Na hii ni mwanzo tu. Tutaandamana mpaka tupate hizo kazi. Tunao tutakubali sisi vijana wa Naivasha hatuwezi pata kazi because watu watoto from outside. If kama event in international ina happen kwa hapa mtaani, watu wanafaa kubenefit ni vijana.
Still in Naivasha, the number of students working as landloaders and harvesters is on the rise in Longonot town. This has contributed to many of them dropping out of school and indulging in drug substances abuse. However, police have played a key role in solving the problem and have managed to arrest 5 students in possession of bang.
We also would like to address the parents of our area. Note that every time our children finishes class 8 and form 4, our cash crop here is sand. So what the parents are doing, they are giving their children the speed. Instead of taking them to college, we have a college here that is very much equipped. It has everything.
Elsewhere, Torobi community now wants state recognition and an ethical code to enable them get government jobs with ease. On Sunday, when opening a community office in Nakuru, they claimed most of them have lost several opportunities, especially when it comes to recruitment of disciplined forces, which in turn are shared among ethical groups in the country. Finally, residents in Saitama, Kakamega County have raised their concerns over poor states of roads, saying they are impassable, especially during rainy season. They now want Governor Fernandez Baraza to hear their plea and intervene.
Tunalaumu mheshimiwa wetu yondopea kiti ya UMCA Saitama. Njia tusaidii, njia ni matope, milima, watu wanaanguka hapo, wazee wanavunjikia hapo, watoto wanaumia hapo, kuna pikipiki watu wa boda wafanyi kazi vizuri, njia ni matope. Mvua ikinyesha tuko na shida.
Achima Tumona, Lookuptv.
Let's get sporty. The Kenya's ladies under-18 national football team, Junior Stars, has registered a win of 3-2 against Zitex Sparks in a friendly match. The Beldin Odemba's led side is preparing for the Sekafa under-18 championships that will be held in Nairobi from the 28th of this month to the end of July this year.
Well, so far the girls in the camp are gelling. The girls needed a reality to see how the tournament is going to be. So that is why we played a WPL side and a good one, I will say, so that we can just see the reality of the tournament and they can get the touch and feel of the tournament. And so far, I feel that we have a few things to work on. So we shall just keep on working on the few things and get ready for the tournament.
On to the men's side, and Mackenzie'S and Shabana FC have been promoted from the National Super League to the FKF Premier League. Both teams registered crucial wins to earn the promotion. Mackenzie'S defeated Coastal Heroes 1-0, as Shabana FC on the other hand registered another 1-0 win against Migori. Both are tied on points or level on points on the log, with Mackenzie'S having a goal advantage.
Mimi kila game kwangu ni kama finali. Hizo game zimebaki 3. Lazima nishinde hizo game zote. Kucheza yani vile kutakuwa. Juu kuna wale wapinzani wangu na vijana wao tunaendelea kucheza ile side nyingine. Lakini sasa mimi mpaka dakika ya mwisho ndio nitaongea. Kwa sasa nasema siwezi comment kitu yoyote.
Tulikuwa tu point 3 zingine. Tumecheza vizuri, by the way, performance imekuwa fantastic. Ni chances zetu tukiteka. Baruku. Wamekuwa performance top class. Cheza msukuma. Ni saa nyingine mpira ina bahati kwenye momentum naweza sema kushinda.
Ule tunaona kama hatutafikia hapo. Fair play itasaidia. So long as team zote ziko fair, lakini referee ata take charge. Yeye ndiye atamua game iko fair. Game iko fair tutaridhika. Ndio kufungwa. Football iko kufungwa, yes, lakini ufunga the right time.
On to the